It's the perfect storm. There's a dangerous and dark side to Florida where homeowners are getting completely wiped out and saying goodbye to their life savings. Now, over the next few months, around 100,000 homeowners in Florida will find that their homeowners insurance is ending. And this is right in the middle of hurricane season. Now, it's one thing if your insurance premium skyrockets. That's bad. But it's a whole nother thing when your insurance company says, I'm pulling out, completely out, and you can't find insurance anywhere. Yet every single day, people are moving to Florida with massive regrets because they just didn't know. So today, I'm on location in Florida to give you the full tour so that you can avoid the pitfalls that are costly. So give me a thumbs up if you're good with that. Farmers Insurance, Bankers Insurance, Centuri, and Lexington are just the latest of 24 other companies that have completely pulled out of Florida and stopped writing new business totally. Now, if you run out of private insurers who are willing to bear the risk in the state, you end up using the insurer of last resort, Citizens Insurance. Policyholders with Citizens are now forced to double-digit insurance hikes this year. Now, originally, Citizens was supposed to bridge the gap between homeowners who had lost their insurance and looking for insurance on their own, kind of like Cobra Insurance. But now there's a huge trouble in finding any coverage when the insurer of last resort has now grown to the largest homeowner insurer in the state of Florida. It's a total cluster. But wait, there's more. It gets worse. I want to give you the 7 Florida money traps, and here they are in descending order. Number 7, here's the numbers. 1.3 million policyholders are with Citizens, yet only $3.9 million of income came in this year from premiums and surcharges from those policies. So do you see a big problem here? 1.3 million policyholders with Citizens, yet only $3.9 million in income. Even if the weakest storm hits the state, it's a recipe for total disaster. Keep your fingers and toes crossed that there isn't even a tiny squall or a thunderstorm or a hailstorm, let alone a baby hurricane. You know, this is a huge amount of risk. And now this sets up the stage for the perfect storm that will crush homeowners, considering Florida is the #1 hurricane state in the nation. Now here's the numbers. Now I want you to look at these facts. Now here's the top 10 states for hurricanes. Now you can see for yourself that Florida is ranked #1 by a massive amount, and Texas #2, then North Carolina #3. It's probably geographically because it sticks further out in the ocean. And then you have Louisiana. And then take a look at South Carolina, which actually has 4 times fewer hurricanes than Florida. Now, one woman wrote me and she told me she's never had a claim. Yet in 2018, her insurance was $3,000 a year for her 1,100 square foot home. And then in 2021, it went up to $6,000. And then earlier this year, it jumped up to $13,000 a year. And she couldn't afford that, so she shopped around. She found that there was one other company, and she signed up with them, of course, and then they dropped her exactly 1 month later. Now, the only other option she had was Citizens Insurance. And when you get Citizens Insurance, you must also buy the additional flood policy that goes along with that to keep your house, even if it's not in a flood zone. Now, unfortunately, this lady, she found out the hard way what was really happening in Florida, and she thought she would be in paradise when she moved, but she only found out that this is a total nightmare for her. And she put her house up for sale, and then she's moving to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Now, this is not a one-time issue. It's a recurring trend that keeps on happening throughout the state of Florida. Some of you wrote me and you told me your insurance went from $4,000 a year to $9,000 a year. And now insurance premiums are shooting up again this year. For homeowners, condo owners, mobile homeowners, renters, it's happening. This leads us to number 6, lawsuits. The facts. Florida accounts for 79% of all insurance lawsuits filed. Yet the rest of the entire United States makes up only the other 21%. Why is this? Well, last year alone, Florida's hurricane season ended with 14 named tropical systems, including 8 hurricanes, with 3 major hurricanes, Ian, Nicole, and Fiona, which brought extensive damage throughout the entire state of Florida. Not just coastal Florida, all of Florida. Hurricane victims throughout the state are still struggling to clean up issues with their houses and the damage that occurred 11 months ago. Now think about it. You bought a house, you paid for the insurance premium, and then when you need them the most, you're still dealing with this almost a year later, and nothing is resolved. Number 5, the old roofing scam, and that's roof age, roof scams, and attorneys. So let's start with age. Some homeowners have received a notice of non-renewal that they've been dropped from their insurance company. And they received this letter from a carrier that says satellite images or drones flew over their house, and they revealed that there were broken shingles or a roof over 10 years old. Now, somehow owners feel like they've been targeted, and they have this drop policy because the age of the roof was over 15 years without a claim or a windstorm. Now imagine if you don't have a brand new roof on your house and nobody wants to insure you anymore. Crazy, right? And replacing a roof, it's not cheap. One lady told me with a terracotta roof, she spent $124,000 to replace it after a storm. Plus, you may need to bring it up to Florida building code or the latest version of that code. Now, even if you did actually receive storm, wind, or hail damage from a storm, you better check that policy to see if you actually paid for that additional coverage of wind and hail damage. And while you're at it, you better check and calculate the size of that deductible that you must pay. Oh, and did you purchase additional flood insurance? Oh, the devil is in the details, guys. Read the fine print, because it's making some homeowners shell out the brunt of these expenses, and many Florida homeowners are now feeling like insurance was basically worthless when it comes time to make a claim. This is nothing new. I mean, even back in 2020, according to the Office of Insurance Regulation, 79,220 homeowners filed lawsuits against insurance companies with losses of more than $1 billion. One insurance company CEO commented last year he was averaging 26 lawsuits a day for roofs alone. Now, I think we all know this, but once an attorney gets involved just to recover $1 worth of storm damage, it goes up, because when attorneys charge $700 and $800 an hour for fees, you know what that is? Money. These additional costs have put 7 Florida insurance companies into liquidation. And for many of those who are still remaining, their ratings are completely dropping. So the question is, number 4, do we even need insurance? On the other hand, if you pay cash, you don't need to buy insurance. You could self-insure. You just back up the risk with your own money. But of course, the downside is whenever anything happens, it comes directly out of your pocket. For the cleanup, the trash out, you pay. If you need another place to stay while your repairs are being done, you pay. So essentially, you're the insurance company yourself. But as we've seen recently, you could have a total loss of your investment, and then you have to write a check for the demolition of where your house once stood. And then if you rebuild, you have 100% of that coming out of your pocket as well. So that's a double whammy. And many people, just even if they consider themselves to be rich, don't want to take on that much risk, considering the odds that are happening in Florida. Insurance is a requirement with a bank. So if you have a mortgage and without an insurance policy, you're not going to be able to get that mortgage. Now, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will not issue a mortgage unless you can attach an insurance policy to it. Now, you're going to be seeing many who are retired, who moved to Florida, who can no longer afford to live here. So don't get trapped. If you don't have a plan B and you can't escape, make sure you have a plan A. Don't get trapped. Number 3, stormproofing. So what can you do if you don't live into a concrete and steel home that's been raised up in the air 12 feet from flooding, right? So stormproofing your home can be the best option that you have, because when an insurance company looks at what they have to insure, you may have an older roof or older windows that blow out during a storm, and you may not be able to get insurance. But if you have a third-party wind mitigation inspection, this can help protect your home and possibly help you save a few dollars depending on your insurance company. Are your exterior doors hurricane-proof? Do you have old garage doors or tracks that need to be replaced with a door that is actually approved for both wind pressure and for impact protection? Hey, do you have installed storm shutters to protect your windows from breaking? Now, if you have hurricane straps or tie downs or clips even installed, you can retrofit those into a house. Now, this is the reinforcement that helps roofs from detaching during high winds. So hurricane straps are required in Florida for any home that's built after 2001. But again, like I said, you might be able to retrofit a house. Now, if the home's insured for $300,000 or more, hurricane straps also need 3 or more nails to secure each one of them. And this is why you need a third party of wind mitigation inspection that can reveal these issues to help you correct them. Now, one man told me he spent $60,000 to replace all of his windows and all of his doors and was still dropped by his insurance company. So this is not always a foolproof plan. Now, just realize building costs have gone up faster than inflation, so be prepared. I mean, even new construction homeowners are getting shocked in their second year of insurance renewal. It's happening. Number 2, taxes. Now, property taxes are spiking for new homeowners, and these homebuyers thought that they were escaping high taxes when they moved here. but now they're shocked when these new updated Florida property tax bills are coming out. Now, since these new homebuyers are paying thousands more than the previous homeowners, it doesn't help that Florida's appraised property values have skyrocketed by 26% in the last few years. Now, Robert Walsh is a Broward County resident. He saw his taxes in Fort Lauderdale surge from $5,000 a year to $13,000 a year. It's happening. Number one, Florida unaffordability. Look, the bottom line, if there's a heavy storm season in Florida, you could see a total collapse of the entire system. Now, if you're thinking about moving to Florida, just bring your checkbook and leave it open. You know, many people, even if they consider themselves to be rich, don't want to take on that much risk or expense considering everything that's going on in Florida. Now, living in Florida, it's changed a lot. Residents are now experiencing Florida problems like skyrocketing insurance, increasing housing costs, higher property taxes, higher home maintenance costs, crazy traffic and congestion, insurance rates that are doubling and tripling, and overall high cost of living is really wearing on a lot of people. And this is why many are now looking for other options and considering other alternative areas and other states. So if you're still thinking about moving or retiring, be smart. Don't get wiped out in a flash. Don't lose your life savings. There are places with lower chances of natural disaster, lower property taxes, great year-round weather, and great health care and doctors, and it's not too hot. It's not too cold, and there's lots of fun things to do. And this could be just one reason why U.S. News & World Report has named Myrtle Beach, South Carolina as the fastest growing place in America for the third year in a row. Now, if you're considering an alternative option like Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, or anywhere else in the United States, pick up the phone and give us a call at 843-839-9870. You have questions, we have answers, and this is what my team does every single day. We're here to help you to find your hidden gem and also to avoid those pitfalls that are costly. And was any of this helpful? Put it in the comments. Now, if you found this information helpful, just consider subscribing on this channel because there's over 1,200 videos here that benefit you. And if you're subscribed, guess what? I'm going to see you in the next video. Take care, guys. I got a special surprise for you if you subscribe. Not just the Wienermobile, but 2 Wienermobiles.